officially welcome. And we'd like to begin with a short drill before we continue. And that is going to speak on silence. Nice subject. And we'll just share that now.
अभी एक सेकंड सभी बहुत मीठी मीठी स्वीट साइलेंस के स्टेज के अनुभव में खो जाओ। अच्छा
Welcome back. This silent stage that is natural and easy when the Smriti is right, and was very interesting to further deepen this understanding yesterday. And that is, it is easy, but or yet it is subtle, and that it's changing the potentially. Smriti can change moment by moment. And just like in the Murli, Baba was saying, if you know the creator and creation, but if you don't know Maya, you can't be knowledgeful. And yesterday it was shared Maya's biggest success is in hijacking the true I. So we can speak sweetly, softly, be sharing knowledge, even write books, but will the Smriti be also from the true I is another story. So great to have this chance to reflect and deepen on this. So looking forward to today's session. And as always, any questions, thoughts? So I'm going to hand over now to Prashant. Welcome.
Thank you. And hello and good evening from here. As always, let us create a few more minutes of attention. Very easy way to come into the experience is to bypass the ego. Sometimes people ask, what's the difference between imagination, visualizing, and our meditation? Our aim is not just some words or listen to a commentary or imagination. That is not the aim. Aim is experience. When it is ego-based spiritual effort, it becomes imagination. And very easy to switch it to the spiritual experience. Just we have to bypass. Let it not be ego-based. This is the reason why we start with the best intellect. We check this. Ego is based on the story. If the story is made big, then it can only be ego-based. That is why different words we use. It's like we use the word story, we use the word, this is a theater, drama. But once you have started seeing this as small, ego becomes small. Such a very definite method. We said this whole theater, small in size, small in significance. And we also see it as short in time. Because Paras intellect, its scale is different. It can see the unlimited and eternity. So this drama is drama, whether it is of 5 minutes or 5,000 years. It is small for the Paras. Is more interested in the real world beyond. So game changes in 1 minute. And in the real world, there are real beings, real family, true family, true home, true father, true treasures. This true security itself is a treasure. Peace is a treasure. Contentment is a treasure. And even more fascinating, true self. we see how extraordinary success that Maya has been able to block this. Everything that is important is blocked. And day in and day out, we are stuck with this temporary Harry Potter. This story is no different to any other story. It is as absurd as that. Day in and day out, when all are stuck with the story and then get trapped, they create attachments and ego based on that story. We are seeing the real world, true family. They all are different. They are alaukic. They are not going to be like the story world. They all are immortal. True self sees himself as a presence. It is not a big effort for him. It is natural for him to be that presence. It is normal for him that he is immortal. Normal to belong to this supreme sky, supreme home. Normal to belong to this great family. All they are alaukic. All are immortal. All are noble. Noble means they are free from the story. They need nothing from the story. What an amazing thing to forget. No one normally just forgets their family and their father or themselves. This environment helps the true self to become conscious. Smriti comes. Ordinarily, if we have not been even seeing this dimension, it is not possible to have a smriti based on the soul. Once we are seeing this dimension, the paras environment, now it becomes so normal that this invisible presence is the one who is conscious now, is awake. He understands where he belongs and who he is. Also understands his complete independence from the physical world. Just as you would say your independence from Harry Potter. You may be even acting in a drama of Harry Potter, but you know your independence. So the invisible actor, invisible soul is the invisible actor. He understands his complete independence. Story is there, story is not there. Story finishes. Then dragons come, dragons go. It is in the story. The world of the invisible actor is different. Invisible actor is the invisible player. For him, it is normal to be loved by God, to be from the family of God. It is his family. Just like for anyone who is woken up from sleep. He knows which family he belongs to, who are his parents. The invisible actor, who is the invisible player, he naturally becomes free from desires in the story, free from sorrows because of the story. Once you are independent, once you are free from it, there are no sorrows. Free from ego. No one creates ego based on some random story. Free from vices. If there are no desires, that means free from vices. What remains is a life of silent bliss and silent contentment. Life of the invisible player. He doesn't need to be told to become virtuous. It is authentic. Whatever he does, it is authentic. It is coming from that absolute security. He knows everyone belongs to him and all are worthy of love. He knows this. All are like this, harmless and selfless. He is seeing these invisible actors, true family, and he knows they are immensely worthy of love, worthy of respect. They're childlike, they are godlike, all and always. So with this kind of life, he has worthiness. He feels worthy to be loved by God. Who would not love someone who is so clean and authentic? He feels worthy to belong to God. He feels worthy to have company of God, confidence in himself. He is not trying to have faith in God. He lives in that experience. All that has happened, he just used the right intellect. What an amazing thing. Game changes so much. As we continue on our journey in the sky and on earth, we remember this extraordinary truth. This is the truth of everyone. Our caution is not to get drawn into the story again. At least understand what it is. Remember the truth. I was going to read a short passage from the Murli, 1972. Few lines. We already heard some words from above already. It is nice too. And even as we listen, let it be the invisible players. But we are very much in the Prashant is reading, and it appears, it is Prashant who has to bring about a change, but it is the invisible player who becomes conscious. Otherwise, here it is all dramatics. What is going on? Whilst this drama is going on, we have to pay attention to the completely independent, invisible player. So this date is 21st of January 72. Just as you switch something on and turn it off, it takes 1 second. In the same way, are you able to take the support of the body in 1 second? And when you choose, become bodiless and stay beyond in a second. You have to practice coming into the body in one moment, going beyond the body the next moment. This is called the karmatit stage. You will experience this as though it is in your own hands to adopt whatever type of costume you wish, whenever you wish. When there is a need for it, you adopt a costume. When there is no need, you become separate from the body. You should have such an experience through the costume of the body. Whilst performing action, the experience should be such that it is as though you have adopted a costume and are doing your work. As soon as you finish your work, you then become detached from the costume. Through developing this practice, you have to experience the detachment of the soul from the body, even whilst walking and moving around. Who is able to practice this? Detachment, there is the word. It is like whether it is in English or Hindi, some word has to be used. But to understand the example yesterday, Sean Connery is playing the part of James Bond. Everyone sees James Bond. They all are, they may not even know that there is someone called Sean Connery. But he understands the drama. He understands not just the body, but understands the whole role there, story. And Sean Connery is separate from the body and the role, the whole thing, whilst walking and moving around. Actions are going on, but his Smriti is not based on Sean Connery. Smriti is based on Smriti is not based on James Bond. Smriti is based on Sean Connery, the actor. Same here. Here the part is going on. Prashant part is going on. Prashant is talking. Whilst that is happening, let us know that there is this invisible actor. He has got this big reality behind, and he's temporarily here. Art can finish any moment. It has got a script. The whole thing is so irrelevant, the script and the details. There is not lots of why and what about these details. We are performing a great performance here. That is nice. More important, the main thing is to connect with the life of Sean Connery. Excellent. So let us hear some thoughts from you.
Everyone is in the experience, so there are not questions at the moment. From yesterday, can we say we manifest this Smriti, or would you, what word would you use? Awakening the Smriti? Manifest doesn't seem to be a useful word here.
Yeah, we are not using the word manifest to come in the Smriti. I'm going to use the whiteboard and let us see. Very important the sketch that we like very much. We need the reminders of our 3 words. Paras means that we are seeing the big map. We are understanding the true player and in the true family, just a visual orientation. And we are saying that there is a great performance here, but it is no different to Harry Potter. You know that someone by name Harry Potter doesn't exist anywhere. It is just a fictional. Someone in your village can write another story of Harry Potter. And that's no problem to write a story. There is no entity called Harry Potter in the real world. It is just fiction. And he can write a story on 100 dragons. And what he wants, he can. There are so many stories in this world. Imagine, for whatever reason, confusion, we often use this image of we crossing the line. Crossing the line, this is the line of ignorance and confusion. But someone was to really believe in Smriti, in an abnormal Smriti, means this. He starts to define himself based on this Harry Potter. Someone writes the story on not even Harry Potter, someone else, another story, Harry Potter. And he starts to believe that Harry Potter is I. That letter I is used on this fictional entity. Okay, sure, there is identity crisis, for him. It doesn't end there. When the Smriti has gone there, I is used. He works for this I. He thinks that Harry Potter What are the interests of Terry? What should be done? Terry Potter got some enemies. Terry Potter needs more bigger hat, and people should praise Terry Potter. And Terry Potter needs smart shoes. His whole time is used in that. And the story finishes at some point. He comes back to senses. At some point, he comes back to senses. That time, if it was one day he is thinking he's Terry Potter, that time is wasted completely. His sorrows are for nothing. His ideas of progress is for nothing. His ideas of love is for nothing. It's a delusion. One day spent is in, but in that state, he may even, it's just like, someone is a zombie. In that one day, he could be creating problems to himself or to others. In the interest of Terry Potter, he can be creating problems with police. He may be creating problems with the neighbors. And next day he wakes up and he realizes, what have I done? I have broken something and I have burnt something. And what is it all for? Now he has to fix it, because in that state he thought he's selfish, but it was destructive and harmful to himself, to others. So the abnormal Smriti, it is, oh yes, that is a function, it is some abnormal. But to hijack someone's identity is like the biggest success of Maya. The example we gave, of someone thinks he's Terry Potter. That was the example. What has happened at the end of Silver Age and the Copper Age is exactly the same. You remember recently Baba said in the Murli yesterday that it is a hopeless case. Present situation is a hopeless case. So not many people will be saying this. These are all normal people. They are sort of thinking there is a big success and they are becoming billionaires and they are getting a bigger head. They all are thinking, they don't say theirs is a hopeless case. They think they are very good. But Baba is saying these are hopeless cases because they don't even know what they are doing. They are working for Terry Potter. When they will come back to senses, they will realize time was wasted, life was wasted. Their ideas of progress, success is for nothing. But in that state of delusion, they have created bad karma. And in that delusion, what will happen? If you don't even know what you are doing, the account of bad karma, more chances of that increasing. And there are penalties for that. That you realize when you come back to senses. So when we are talking about true Smriti, it is a shift, and when going is good, not waiting for painful way of coming out, but coming out of that delusion when everything is going good. Harry Potter is okay, and new hats are coming and praise is coming. Okay, that is the time to understand the absurdity of that life. And then you are discovering, okay, this identity you understand. We exist as invisible. Okay, well be, if that is the way it is, let me find out more, if that is really the case. But if we have agreed to that, then there is no reason why we should be in a abnormal smriti even now. Or it shouldn't be that we should be in the abnormal smriti and not be concerned about it. Now we have understood what the true I is. And what Baba said, whilst walking, moving around, you should be in that awareness. That should be our aim. Creating that seconds and minutes of that awareness, understanding that this is important. This has to be put right. Aim is not to make James Bond spiritual. That is not the aim of Raj Yoga. Aim is not to make Prashant spiritual. Aim is to make the spirit conscious. Invisible spirit is the invisible actor. He already exists and he has to be conscious. Understands his complete independence from Prashant. We'll create a few more minutes of practice, but like to hear some thoughts from you also.
Yes, a few more questions have come in. I think it's really fascinating, the concept of detachment in the example you gave with Sean Connery. Is on the stage, he knows he's not James Bond. It feels like this is true detachment. And the question in the chat, what is the difference between detachment and indifference to the drama? Is indifference negative as one loses motivation? So,
Sure. When it is ego, when the ego is ruling our lives, ego can go into some excitements and some kind of, he loses interest in something, is indifferent to something and more interested in something else. It is the whole state is confusion. From confusion, different kinds of sorrows, different kinds of expressions of that confusion. And when the actor is conscious, so in this example of Sean Connery is conscious and understands the story for what it is and the real world beyond, then he is useful to himself. Because now it is not a delusion, it is sensible. Until then, he may be indifferent to his real family. They are all there and he completely ignored them. When he is conscious, he is now aware that there is a real family and there may be some things that need to be addressed. Some may be hungry, some may be thirsty, it has to be addressed. When he is in delusion, he is trying to glorify James Bond and completely indifferent to the real world. Same thing happens with us. When we are conscious, then we are in clarity. We understand the whole map very clearly. And that is most important. Not indifference or excitement, what is right or wrong. In delusion, everything is wrong. Where he is excited, it is wrong, and his indifference is also wrong. Whereas once he is awake, conscious, seeing things the right way, there are areas where there has to be indifference. And that is very natural state. And there are some areas we should be paying attention to. But whatever he does is right. Because he's conscious. Let me know if I answered it right. but certainly in this conscious state, he knows of his true family. Like here, we said yesterday, his vision is seeing that there are real brothers, invisible brothers here. In his body conscious state, was completely ignoring them. Not just indifferent, but he did not even know they exist. In this conscious state, he loves them. Just like the father, father not just loves them, he has got full program to help them and serve them and acknowledges them. So there is a lot that needs to be done at that level.
It's very clear. But happy to hear in the chat if that helps. This is maybe a quick one. Can we share our experiences with other souls, since our experiences are unique to each individual?
Yeah, of course, but feel the pulse and then give medicine. So someone who may not be able to understand your experience, then be a bit cautious. First try to feel, what other person needs in small doses sometimes.
Good caution. And this question, the image of a switch, which you mentioned, was liked. If we look at an electric switch on the wall, it stays in position, so we put it on. And in this case, then the Smriti, it isn't necessarily instantaneous. It actually requires effort to put it on and also concentration. And in this case, it switches off by itself. Why is that? And what triggers it back to the off position?
Yeah, a very good question. Just like, even the switches, I'm sure, in the early stages, they were not as sophisticated as today maybe. There may be, Edison and all must have worked their way to find the right kind of switches. So also here, as we practice, it will become a question of 1 second. But first we have to play with it and practice, see the contrast, know what it is. That itself may need some practice. Why it gets switched off? I would like to hear, some answers. Why it gets switched off? We don't want to switch it off. Suddenly, Smriti gets switched off. What are your answers? Anyone can answer. Those who get a right answer will get a prize.
Power cut? Crossing the line, ego, education, losing our sense of humor. Maybe the switch is there, but there's no electricity. The Smriti shifts to Ravan, distraction, lack of faith, or Nishche. When we get too involved in the story, something becomes big.
Sure.
Laziness, Maya, we forget, and something in Spanish. Just translate.
Yeah, one aspect for us to know, it is a very important question and for us to be aware. If you remain soul conscious, even for 10 seconds, during those 10 seconds, ego will suffocate. Literally what is happening, ego is going to die. You might have created ego based on Harry Potter, and Harry Potter may not even exist, in the real world. No one has read that story, but you have created the ego there based on Harry Potter. But once ego is created, ego wants to survive. That is I there. And no one wants to die. Even an insect, ant, no creature wants to die. So ego will give a fight. This ant, if it is threatened, it will bite you. So ego will give a fight. So if you remain soul conscious for 10 seconds, ego is looking for a chance to switch it off because it wants to switch on. Is Smriti. He wants to breathe. So that is the game, and that is what will happen. So how do you change if this is what is going on, and there are so many ego there, and they are quite powerful in the Iron Age? So how do you change this? The answer to this is change the environment of confusion, environment of stone intellect, environment of patthar that favors the ego. Certain company creates the environment and it favors the ego. And the ego will be powerful in that environment. That environment, just like certain environment, daffodils come out. In another environment, some weeds come out. Same here. That environment favors the ego. That's great. You have the option to create an environment of light. The environment of darkness is not the only option. Environment of light means knowledge and revision and put the slogans, create environment. And so each time you are in that atmosphere, Paras environment, we use this language, create a Paras environment for yourselves, but even externally create an environment of knowledge. Let there be a momentum of that. And in that environment, ego is not encouraged and ego will shrink. Still, attention is still required. It is not some you go to Madhuban and ego will automatically go. I don't mean that way. We have to also create a Paras environment inside us. External environment and internal environment.
Okay, so there was a question here. Does that also mean changing the physical environment? So you mentioned.
Try to avoid certain situations if when possible. In for a period of time, we need a momentum in this direction.
So the follow-up question to that is, how do we change the environment if you are married to the problem?
Married to?
To the problem.
Inner environment, we start from that. Like we, in the beginning, we said, let us use Paras. Let us see this 100% from the Paras intellect. And instantly, we are making ego shrinks in that environment. And we have the option to do this again 10 times. It is like an easy effort. Once you have created that environment, that whole soul awareness and the perspective, that vision, it will become easy. Also, once you are in the experiences, that itself becomes an incentive to come back to it. Just like someone, if he goes to some, he goes on a swing or he goes on a slide. Some child, once he has experienced it, he wants to experience it again. He wants to go on that slide again, go on the swing again. Something like that happens. Once you have experienced this, you want to come back to that experience again. So it creates a positive spiral.
There, thank you. I hope that helps. Feel free to share in the chat. Earlier on, there was a question from a new student. Is chanting in any way for spirituality helpful for concentration? And is it in the Smriti or Vismriti?
It may help concentration and may help in some other aspects of our life, but it is not aimed to change something and not necessary. This attention on Smriti, shift of Smriti, is largely a silent process. And some attentions in the introvertedness necessary, that silently checking that is necessary. Silent observation is necessary. Yeah, it is a different journey.
Okay, thank you. On this topic of the physical environment, if the physical environment is challenging, is it better to stay and try to strengthen soul consciousness or make it easier by leaving?
Each of these situations are very individual, and there is no absolute prescription to these situations. What we have discussed are broad guidelines, and we have to sort of see what we can apply in each situation. But to know that a lot is in our hands, and outer life will, it is not in our control, in a big way. We have to be in control of the inner life first.
Sometimes changes are made externally, but the same situation repeats in a different form. So it can be an indication of the blueprint inside of different egos. So it is empowering to realize it doesn't depend on the external. But maybe it's good to take advice from someone else who's also maybe more experienced on the path to get advice on some of these aspects.
I want to take a next subject. We can come back to the questions.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Let us create another few moments of silence and attention. Aware of this dimension, subtle and alaukic dimension. And that is important. It is not just a meditation. The invisible player understands that that is his world. And his family is there, his father is there. Subtle. That itself is fun. His world is subtle, his world is eternal. The moment anyone understands he is beyond harm, then there is that energy of fun and lightness. Nothing in the three worlds can harm him, even the slightest. And nothing in the three worlds that he needs anything from. He's so independent, he needs nothing from anywhere, and nothing can ever harm him. Such is the extraordinary truth of the soul. That's why he finds everything's fun when he's conscious. The sign of being conscious is this. He feels silence is nice and the noise is nice, the rain is nice. Birth, death, he is not harmed. There is no energy of complaint, concern, questions, crave or cry. All of these are ego-based reactions. For him, it is celebration, energy of celebration. Continuous. Everything that happens is great gift. Just because he knows nothing can harm him. That's all. And what a beautiful thing for us. We can come in that in 1 second. It is like a switch. We used a story in some of our earlier sessions, not this time, in the past. And that story was when one eagle comes to an insect. Insect was on the back of a pig. And on the back of the pig, he finds a patch of mud. So this insect says, wow, I got a big land and it is in a prime location. So this insect is busy building fence and getting this land secure. So this eagle tells him, do you want to come to the sky? Do you want to become an eagle? He says, sky? What is there in the sky? And this eagle says, you will see the sun and I will take you, you will see mountains and valleys and trees and animals. I will show you all this. You will also see this pig. You will see this pig properly. I'll bring you back to your land also. But you will see all this. It is very exciting what you speak, but I don't want to let go of this land. I've been waiting for this. So come next week. By that time, this land, will be quite safe. So eagle says, okay, eagle comes next week. Do you want to come to the sky? He says, I now found more land. These are rare things, opportunities. And this is not a time for me to go. But a week later, I like this idea of the sky and seeing the other valleys, mountains, but after another week. So eagle comes after another week. Do you want to come to the sky? He says, now I got some cracks in my land. I'm busy fixing the cracks. So I myself need help here. How can I just drop it, just go? Where am I going to go by dropping this? So I'm busy. I don't think I will come to the sky. Now this is a very interesting example. The insect is happy. Insect has got some life, idea of progress and success and excitement. That is all going on. But there is no comparison between the life of an eagle and life of an insect. If the eagle is given the choice, come to this land. Okay, I'm giving you a big land. The eagle will not say, wow, exciting. Eagle has got a different option altogether. This story is good for us because the drop is like that for us. What is happening from one Smriti to another Smriti is not a small drop, it is a big drop. That's why Baba compares it to heaven and hell. It is, Baba doesn't say it is gradual, little, not bad. Baba doesn't say that. They say it is hell, and now it is extreme depths of hell. This is the way Baba sees it. Because once you see the contrast, you can't be seeing this as great achievement. It may be a land in a prime location, but eagle will not say it is an extraordinary success. So what is this life of the soul that is conscious? It is good for us. We will start that process, and it is good for us to create a little of a homework. Just like in school, you make this in a column, and what is happening in the sky, and what is happening on the land. It is a bit like, make a column. So when the soul is conscious, he has company of God. What happens when he is in the body conscious Smriti, ego-based Smriti? Let's see the lives of people here. They would think to have company of the king is a big success. Just king, their city, their country, king is their friend. They will see this as a big success. If you, in a country like here, where the royal family, you just need to meet people, and they will sort of share. They once met some prince, they got photographs and all. And if not the royals, they want some celebrities, take photograph with some celebrities. It will go into Facebook. In different ways, they are trying to connect with someone important, and what they would like to become, something like this. It's a big success. What is happening in the present time? It is not just golden age, we are talking about present time. Provided the soul is conscious, that is the precondition. If there is a Smriti, he has King of Kings, not the King of the Iron Age, King of Kings, one who creates kings of heaven. He offers the company with worthiness, knows the worthiness of the soul in a relationship of equality, a relationship where there is true love, authentic love, respect, company that is constant. It is not occasionally you meet, you may be a friend, but you don't meet every day. But here the friendship is constant. That offer is there. It is up to each one how much he wants to stay in that company. That is his choice. There is a big difference between King of Kings and someone from the royal family of the Iron Age. There is a difference. People like to have a company of someone who is intelligent, scholars, university, who like to learn from them. If there are someone, a student would like the best teacher. Here is your friend, God is your friend, King of Kings is your friend. He is also the wisest. He has got secrets. One who creates heaven, so definitely he has got secrets. And he wants to be teacher for you. Happy to be the teacher. If some friend has got some, he will be happy to teach you also. He also wants to play the part of the father. He's a friend, but he wants to give inheritance. And he is happy to be your father and play the part of the adult, at the present time. In the present time, there is need of a guardian. And he is also capable. He is the only Satguru. He has the secrets how to attain mukti, Jivan mukti. There is no one else there who knows these secrets. He offers Jivan mukti even to the gurus and uplifts them. So, and he is offering that relationship to you. Your friend, but he is willing to play the part all at the alokik level. All of this applies only if the soul is in Smriti. Then it applies. Just as we said, if one is stuck in the anthill, in that then the game is different. You are missing out. If the eagle is conscious, then eagle is seeing things differently. The sun is there, clouds are there, the mountains are there, but they are not available to the anthill. Ants in the anthill don't experience any of those things. But for the eagle, that whole world is available. That's why you hear in the Murli, Baba says, first become soul conscious, then remember the Father. That shift has to happen coming out of the anthill. And then you are connected to this dimension. There is a big difference between company of the wisest and the highest and the holiest, King of Kings, one who knows the big secrets, a relationship of equality and immense love, everything clean and authentic, because at that level it is like that. Equality is natural for him. It is not patronizing equality. That's what he knows. It's family. Different game. And anything of that kind has its You heard the Murli of today. Baba says portrait. What portrait of the present? So at the present time, if you are having this life with the King of Kings, and then it has repercussions. It influences the future. This portrait of the present is the one that decides the future. In the present world, just as we said, everyone wants to be with some celebrity, or what do they call it, a tag, or they want to be followed by some people. They want to celebrity culture. In the same way, everyone wants to live longer. That is like a big drive. They want to build castles, and so that no one can harm them. And the body wants healthy body and live longer. They want to be alive. Good health system, good health insurance. Do you know the system called cryogenics? Have you heard of this, cryogenics? There is a system, and there is a advanced knowledge there. And what it means, they keep the person who is dead frozen at minus 190 degrees centigrade temperature. Body is kept frozen with the hope that at a future date, science will evolve to resurrect them. So body is kept frozen, and there are many kept frozen, and there is a waiting list. Those who are alive, they have already paid money, so that there is a waiting list. And many countries and cities, they are creating more of these opportunities because there is demand already. So that when they die, there is an advanced system, doctors and all ready to immediately get into action and freeze the body so that it remains frozen until science comes out with a system to resurrect them, and they can continue their life again. That is one option. These are different options in the INH, in the NTL options. What is the soul conscious option? You are discovering that you are immortal already. That is a different option altogether. You are immortal, and your world is eternal, and you are beyond harm. All that has happened, Smriti has changed. You have discovered who you are, and you discovered the sky, and you don't have to work so hard so that you can earn. It costs $200,000 for the cryogenics to get in the waiting list. You don't have to save that much of money either. And for you, the whole journey in this anthill is a gift. Every second is a gift. Birth is one experience, death is another experience. Thank you, bye-bye. Different game. There's huge difference between body being frozen at minus 190 temperature and discovering the immortality during lifetime. Every aspect, see the contrast that is going on in these two Smriti. And we should feel a little bit of, Baba uses the word disinterest, but the word is a bit stronger, vairagya, distaste. not, there has to be a little bit disinterest, vairagya, to this option of the anthill. then it means we have shifted in the other Smriti. Otherwise, ego, as we said, when ego is in action, ego is conscious, ego is the king, you might say ego full-fledged. He also has got his programs and activities, and he will, as if everything gets forgotten. Every other understanding is forgotten. That ego becomes the king. See different aspects of life. So we've just spoken few things, and then when there is another opportunity, we'll see others. But I know there is a time for rooms and any other comments.
Thank you. This is very interesting. I don't know that we want to talk about cryogenics so much in rooms, but it is like a very interesting. We can all think of our own examples and see how in life we get totally confused when crossing the line. Do you have a topic that you would like to suggest for discussion?
Of course, we have this understanding of the contrast, but most important for us would be switch. How to shift and how to create a structure in a day where you are using that switch often. Know that there are factors they want to turn the switch off. Know that will happen. That's why you need a program when you have reminders to turn the switch on.
So program or strategies to turn the switch on and keep it on.
Yes.
Okay, very nice. It's a nice image. So yes, do feel free to enjoy this option to meet each other, just giving a little space for everyone to share as always. And we'll meet back in about 10-15 minutes. Thank you. Welcome back. I think we're back. Yes. And let's create a minute of reflection on all of these ideas and sharing. And after that, we're going to hear from our special guest joining us from Israel. So let's create a moment together. So while we have the inner song continuing from this background of the soul space, we're going to welcome Sanjay, who's connecting from Israel. And for someone that wakes up early, it is quite late for you, I think. So happy that you're able to share and join us. So on your, I think, first day of the week. So warm welcome. Very lovely to hear your thoughts on this topic.
Thank you, and good night from Israel. Yes. And you know, we are so fortunate here in Israel because we have so many triggers for so many Smritis, can say, fire balloons in the south, missiles in the north, corona everywhere, which triggers any kind of Smriti that you like to choose or not choose, because we know the triggers are just, we become a kind of slave to them until God came and tells us that we have that option. And as was said, the option is a big, big prize and big, big gift. And this one is keep trying and holding this gift as much as possible. It is mind-blowing just to know that nothing can happen to us, right? Nothing can happen to us. Nothing can happen to me. Because soul is eternal. Soul is not from here. Soul belongs to a highest and best family. Safe and secure ever. And this is the right Smriti to hold whenever is possible. Yes, Ravan and Maya is waiting around the corner to just steal from us this. But we have a choice. This is a big gift. So how to remember the choice and how to keep the switch on and how to recognize when the switch is off. It's kind of an art, isn't it? So this one is looking for feelings, experiences, when there is the slightest sorrow, slightest dislike, slightest discomfort. Immediately this is like a red flag to indicate you lost your Smriti, you lost the right Smriti. So get out of there as quickly as you can and go back to the secure and safe place of, yes, soul conscious, true soul conscious. And how to know when you're there? This lightness and freedom, and like the heart wants to explode of love and happiness. Even for 5, 10, 15 seconds, enough just to prove the self that yes, this is possible. This is possible. And then whenever you find the self down there, down here, just to remember and go back to that place again and again, because you already know the way there. So this is some experiences from Israel. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. Yeah, from everyone, I can see faces lighting up and enjoying this from you, from the soul. And choice, underlying choice. And you reminded me that something I found helpful in the last maybe week or so is the feelings, as you say, And if there's a beggar energy, like a little bit of, you mentioned little sorrow, but they're all kind of different aspects of the beggar, like critical about others in a derogatory way, or being impressed and then begging, or all this. And I felt that you just reminded me of that. It was very vivid in a way to keep it simple. And also you reminded me of, I think yesterday it was shared, be busy with changing, not on checking. And as you say, choice, and just the contrast, keep creating the contrast. Be lovely to hear any comments, any thoughts. And I don't know if you're staying with us for another few minutes, but maybe there'll be questions for you, Sanjay. Meanwhile, coming back to you, welcome Prashant for any final sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome back. Very happy to deal with any last minute questions or any comments from others also.
There was a question here. Does the Supreme Soul really purify, or does he just provide us with the tools for us to purify ourselves?
Yes, ultimately, we can do the job. No one else can do the job for us. That is the absolute law. And even you can't help your best friend here. You can take the horse to water, but horse has to drink. It is like that. So also here, we plays the part of just being a mirror. That itself is a big favor on us. Just remaining what he is and providing the tools, of course, yes. That's why there are numbers. If he was to do the job, then all would have been number one.
Okay, that's helpful. Yes, I think it comes, doesn't it, that he is the purifier, but at the same time is giving knowledge, giving the tools. So it is perhaps a statement from Bhakti. So the resistance you mentioned is ego, and over a long period of time, does it gradually decline?
Ego will get bigger in the world where there is party going on. The ego will just get bigger. Ego shrinks only in the environment of pain. The only other option is environment of light of knowledge, in environment of clarity. Then ego shrinks. So that is our job for ourselves and for others. Create the environment of light. If we want to help anyone, if we really love anyone, then create this environment. Otherwise, they have to just go through the option of pain.
Okay. So there aren't any other questions related. There's an unrelated couple of questions, but we can answer them maybe separately. But if you wanted to complete on the topic.
Yeah, sure. Just let us create another minute of reminders. few things we need to remember for ourselves. That we have the option to choose the intellect which we already have. We have the option to use the best intellect. We have the option for the invisible prince to become conscious. Invisible player is the invisible prince. He belongs to the King of Kings. We have the option to experience this, the highest celebrity, the company and the relationship, love. We have that option to be aware that this exists already. We have the option to stay in this waking state, and every second we are in that state, we make it easy for others to wake up. This is what the word expression used, lighthouse. Lighthouse only if there is light. So the soul that is conscious, he remains embodiment. It is not, Harry it never becomes the embodiment of knowledge. It is the invisible actor who is conscious, who remains the embodiment of knowledge, embodiment of Smriti. But he is also the embodiment of love, an embodiment of peace. He is the one who is image of virtues. And the drama things are some pretense maybe at some places. That is not dharana or being the embodiment of virtues. True virtues, authentic virtues are at the level of the soul. Because one who is awake, conscious, there is no Ravan there. That's why he gets this title, embodiment. He is the one, only one who is awake can do that unlimited service, true service, just by his presence. Because he creates that light and it becomes easy for others to wake up. All four subjects gets addressed in a beautiful way just by taking this one step. That's why the word Smriti is so essential and central. We are dealing with the seed function. Once that is in place, everything falls in place. We also saw that when we are in abnormal Smriti, it is Smriti based on something that is as absurd as Smriti based on Harry Potter. Someone who doesn't even exist, just one story exists somewhere. But seen from the Paras perspective, any other Smriti is just as absurd. The ego has made a huge hype about things, and that is what ego around Harry Potter can also do the same. Here we are understanding the absurdity of that direction. It is ignorance of ignorance. It is an extreme ignorance. But we have the option to come out of this, understand this. It is not just second best. It is darkness. But we have the option to come in the truth and be the one in the company of the wisest and the highest. And we have the option to see this as normal, not as meditation and rest of the time we are normal. No. This life of the conscious soul, life of the invisible player, that is normal. Om Shanti. So we will hear any announcements, and we will also hear some thoughts from Baba also before meeting again.
Thank you for reviewing and making it into a meditation. It's amazing how the topic is in one sense simple, but it needs this revision, reminder, and it goes so deep. I actually haven't got a drill lined up, but I do have a song, not from myself, maybe another time.
Maybe
there are some singers here. Announcements we have, yes. And I will share my screen and just share that we do have in, I think it's 4 weeks, beginning of October, retreat, Game of Life. And it will be 10 a.m. UK time. And do keep in touch if you are not on the database. And I'll just pop that in the chat. And so you'll have the link. We'll send by email. But you might be aware there's also a retreat for beginners coming up Saturday the 11th, so next Saturday. And if you want to share with your contacts, it is 10 a.m. UK time, and put the link in the chat. So it will be lovely opportunity. Also Brahmins and students to revise an atmosphere of this kind of gathering, power of the gathering. So do come along. And yeah, really nice to see everyone connect, deepen, and share. And a big thank you to all the translators and all this amazing work you're doing, and the co-hosting team, and to all of you. And we put it in the chat, Jean-Pierre, if you want to see above all the links there, and we'll put it on email. And thanks to Brother Prashant. So we're going to share now a song, and see you soon. For this song, we're going to go to Australia and hear from Peter singing about angels. So enjoy.
Angels don't walk, they always fly. Travel first class beyond the sky. Angels don't walk, no they don't walk, they prefer to fly. What's with the burden you carry round? He's come to take the worry from your mind. How will you lift off and fly on home if you're all way down. Angels don't walk, they always fly. Travel first class beyond the sky. Angels don't walk, no they don't walk, they prefer to fly. If something were to happen all of a sudden, would you be ever ready in your mind? Time is ticking over, come on, fly to the other side. Angels don't walk, they always fly. Travel first class beyond the sky. Angels don't walk, no they don't walk, they prefer to fly. Travel first class, far above, in the aeroplane of God's love. Why Falcon and learn to fly? Oh yeah. Angels don't walk, they always fly. Travel first class beyond the sky. Angels don't walk, no they don't walk, they prefer to fly. Angels don't walk, they always fly. Travel first class beyond the sky. Angels don't walk, no they don't walk, they prefer to fly. Ooh, prefer to fly. Prefer to fly. Oh yeah, prefer to fly.